Hey Switch fans, welcome back to SwitchTop. Today, we're looking ahead at the most exciting games coming to Nintendo Switch and the new Switch 2. These upcoming titles are shaping up to be absolute must-plays, so let's jump right into our countdown of the top 20 upcoming games. Terminator 2 D No Fate arrives on December 12th, 2025, and it's shaping up to be an intriguing blend of retro action and narrative reinterpretation. Built as a 2D side-scrolling shooter with beat-em-up elements, it lets players switch between Sarah Connor, John Connor, and the T-800, each offering distinct movement, weapon preferences, and combat rhythms that encourage varied approaches across missions. The campaign mirrors the structure of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, recreating iconic beats like the hospital breakout and canal chase, but it expands the story with fresh missions, alternate scenarios, and a branching No Fate mode that unlocks on repeat runs, allowing different choices and multiple endings. Alongside story mode, the game includes arcade, infinite, boss rush, character-focused challenges, and level training, giving it more replay value than expected from a nostalgia-driven adaptation. By mixing faithful cinematic moments with new content, optional paths, hidden levels, and unlockable loadouts, the game aims to respect the film's tone while offering a flexible structure that rewards experimentation, making it a notable upcoming release for players who enjoy stylized action wrapped around a classic sci-fi narrative. Memoire, Revelations in Celceta, is slated to launch in the West in early 2026, bringing a refreshed take on the classic action RPG to Nintendo Switch, with enhancements aimed at both longtime fans and newcomers. Built around fast, real-time party combat, the game encourages shifting between characters to exploit enemy weaknesses while keeping battles energetic and fluid. Exploration is central to the experience, as Adol Kristen wakes with no memories in the enigmatic land of Celceta and is tasked with charting its sprawling forest, an unpredictable region filled with hidden roots, dangerous beasts, and ruins that gradually reveal fragments of his past. Alongside Durin, a companion who claims to know him, Adol uncovers a trail of mysteries involving people who insist they've met him before and factions whose motives intertwine with the secrets of the forest. This version adds presentation upgrades, including optional rearranged music and small refinements that make navigation and combat smoother while preserving the series' signature pace. Together, the amnesia-driven storyline, tactical party system, and emphasis on exploration aim to deliver an adventure that feels both nostalgic and newly polished as it approaches its 2026 release. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, which launched on November 10, 2025, brings together the full breadth of the original experience. Base game, all 6 expansions, and a massive library of Creation Club content, while preparing for a dedicated Nintendo Switch 2 release set for 2026. The package folds in more than 150 curated editions, ranging from weapon sets and outfits to small narrative extras, settlement items, and quality-of-life tweaks, all accessible through the streamlined Creations menu that finally brings mod-style support to consoles. At its core, the game remains a large-scale, open-world RPG built around the journey of the sole survivor as they emerge from Vault 111 and search for their missing son in a devastated Boston, navigating shifting alliances, mutated threats, and faction politics. Its SPECL progression system feeds into flexible playstyles, allowing stealth, dialogue-driven solutions, or full combat builds, while settlement construction and crafting give the wasteland a sense of personal ownership. The Anniversary Edition's consolidation of every major piece of content, combined with incoming portability on Switch 2, aims to deliver the most complete version of Fallout 4 to date, retaining its branching missions, exploration freedom, and post-apocalyptic atmosphere with new accessibility for returning and first-time players alike. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam, now set to release in 2026, brings the iconic puzzle adventure series into a fresh setting built around Steam-powered innovation and an entirely new mystery. Taking place about a year after the events of Unwound Future, the story follows Professor Layton and Luke Triton as they travel to Steam Bison, a technologically advanced American city where steam energy has transformed daily life. Their arrival coincides with a troubling incident tied to a shadowy figure known as Gunman King Joe, whose presence hints at a blend of Western flair, intrigue, and possibly the uncanny. The game retains the traditional Layton structure of exploration, character interactions, and steadily escalating puzzles, but introduces a shift in puzzle design, this time crafted by Quizknock, whose style promises fresh twists while staying true to the thoughtful, logic-based challenges fans expect. Early demonstrations suggest a refined interface and improved input options, such as mouse support on Switch 2, meant to modernize the feel of puzzle solving. Combining a distinctive steampunk-inspired setting, returning protagonists, and updated presentation, the game aims to deliver both nostalgia and reinvention as it approaches its long-awaited 2026 launch.
彼は言っていた。新世界を望まぬと。
あれはやっぱり人間じゃないですよね。
亡霊の岩盤などいるはずがない。何か仕掛けがあるはずだよ。そもそもなぜ亡霊なんだ。
Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, releasing on February 12, 2026, brings a modernized retelling of Yakuza 3 alongside a new companion story that broadens the series' perspective. Built on the newer RGG engine, the remake refines combat flow, visual detail, and exploration while keeping the emotional weight of Kazuma Kiryu's arc intact. Now living in Okinawa and running the Morning Glory Orphanage, Kiryu balances daily caretaking, cooking, fishing, helping with schoolwork, and guiding each child through personal struggles, with the turmoil that erupts when political interests threaten to uproot the orphanage's land. As conspiracies unfold and the criminal world pulls him back in, the contrast between quiet domestic routines and high-stakes gang conflicts becomes central to the experience. Alongside this, Dark Ties delivers a fresh narrative by putting players in the role of Yoshitaka Mine, exploring his path from failed entrepreneur to ambitious Yakuza figure, revealing motivations and moral conflicts that parallel and enrich Kiryu's story. Together, the package blends sharp brawler combat, city life immersion, character-driven storytelling, and a grounded slice-of-life structure, offering both a revitalized classic and a new dramatic thread designed to expand the emotional and thematic scope of the series as it arrives on Switch 2 in 2026. Mario Tennis Fever, releasing on February 12, 2026, marks a bold return for the series with its largest roster yet and a new layer of strategy built around the Fever racket system. With 30 rackets that each offer unique abilities triggered through a chargeable fever gauge, matches gain a dynamic rhythm as players time disruptive effects like freezing courts or altering opponent size. Across its 38 playable characters, the game leans into variety, pairing traditional tournaments with modes like Trial Towers and Mix It Up, the latter throwing unpredictable Wonder-style effects into play for chaotic twists. Online ranked and casual matches broaden competitive options, while local multiplayer keeps the classic party feel intact. The Adventure mode adds a playful narrative hook. After a strange encounter on a remote island, Mario and friends are turned into babies and must relearn tennis by exploring overworld areas, completing minigames, and battling monsters to regain their forms. This blend of accessible tennis action, unpredictable power-ups, and a quirky story framework aims to deliver a sports title that feels both familiar and freshly energized as it debuts on Switch 2 in early 2026.
After encountering monsters on a remote island, Mario and friends are transformed into babies, kicking off a series of unexpected events in the game's Adventure mode. With their tennis skills gone, the babies will need to learn how to play and defeat the monsters to return to normal.
The Legend of Heroes: Trails Beyond the Horizon, launching on January 15, 2026, pushes the Calvard arc forward with a sweeping narrative and expanded tactical systems that deepen both exploration and combat. The game unites three major protagonists, Van Arkwright, Reen Schwarzer, and Kevin Graham, each drawn into a mysterious initiative tied to humanity's first attempt at space travel. What begins as a cooperative training exercise led by the tech giant Marduk spirals into a multi-layered conflict involving political tension, hidden agendas, and revelations that threaten the balance of Zemuria. In battle, the game refines Trail's turn-based foundation with new tools such as shard commands, awakening states, and the time-freezing ZOC mechanic, creating a more reactive, flexible combat flow. Custom party building remains a core strength, allowing players to form dream teams from across the continent as they tackle dangerous regions like Grim Garden. Beyond the mechanics, the story leans into the series' hallmarks, intersecting character arcs, moral dilemmas, and steadily escalating stakes that connect personal motives to world-altering events. With its blend of upgraded systems and ambitious narrative direction, it stands as one of the most significant JRPG releases coming to Switch and Switch 2 in early 2026.
Shucks. Let's see what you're made of.
Game over! Can humanity really touch the stars? I'll be keeping major tabs, so stay tuned for those deeds, Aura Bros.
Ain't done yet! Let's do this!
Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, set for release on February 5th, 2026, rebuilds the classic adventure with a handcrafted diorama-style presentation while preserving the charm of Toriyama's designs and the core spirit of the original. The remake delivers a fully modernized JRPG experience. Encounters now appear visibly on the field, battles run faster with optional auto systems, and the new Moonlighting dual-class mechanic allows each character to equip 2 vocations at once, opening far deeper strategic customization than before. Its journey begins on the quiet island of Estard, where a young fisherman's son and his friends uncover an ancient shrine that transports them to forgotten eras, revealing that countless lands have vanished, sealed away by a malevolent force. Restoring those lost continents becomes the heart of the story, sending players across timelines and regions filled with emotional arcs, darker themes, and character-driven conflicts that shaped the original narrative. With rebalanced progression, smoother pacing, and accessibility refinements, the remake aims to make this sprawling adventure more inviting for newcomers, while offering longtime fans a faithful but revitalized take on one of the largest stories in the series as it arrives on Switch and Switch 2 in early 2026.
This is the
Monster Hunter Stories 3: Twisted Reflection, releasing on March 13th, 2026, builds on the turn-based foundations of the story series while plunging players into its darkest narrative yet. The game's combat once again revolves around the power, speed, technical triangle, but introduces sharper enemy patterns, deeper party management, and more interactive field exploration, where bonding with monsties shapes both traversal and strategy. Set between the kingdoms of Azuria and Vermeil, the story follows the heir of Azuria, known as the Rathalos Rider, during a crisis sparked by the Crystal Encroachment, a phenomenon slowly consuming both nations. When a supposedly extinct Rathalos is discovered inside a mysterious egg, hope briefly rises, only for the situation to twist as a second, corrupted Rathalos emerges from the same egg, igniting fear, political tension, and impending war. Joined by allies including Vermeil's princess, the protagonist must navigate fractured alliances, uncover the cause of the encroachment, and mend a world on the brink of collapse. With its blend of monster raising, open-ended exploration, and JRPG storytelling, this entry aims to deliver the most ambitious and emotionally driven chapter in the story's saga, as it arrives on Switch 2 and other platforms in early 2026.
Don't push yourself.
The Duskbloods, releasing in 2026 as a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive, marks a dramatic new direction for From Software with its gothic multiplayer PvPvE structure built around 8-player matches that blend cooperation, rivalry, and survival. Players take on the role of Bloodsworn, vampiric warriors shaped by unique weapons, abilities, and a customizable blood history that determines attributes, combat styles, and even role-based objectives such as hunting a rival or supporting a designated ally. Battles unfold in shifting arenas where dynamic events trigger enemy waves, environmental hazards, and special missions, forcing players to adapt as PvP conflicts intersect with looming PvE threats. Victory points earned after each match fuel deeper customization, encouraging the creation of distinct builds and evolving identities tied to the game's lore. That lore centers on a world collapsing under the corruption of the primordial First Blood, where humanity's twilight gives rise to twisted landscapes and fierce struggles over fate and power. Wrapped in a Victorian-infused Gothic aesthetic, the game's tone leans heavily into atmospheric horror while maintaining From Software's emphasis on tension, mastery, and narrative mystery.
Close your eyes and contemplate now the moon, as befits the soon-to-depart.
I pray that you are able, carrier of blood.
The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales, slated for release in 2026, brings an action RPG approach to a world shaped by ancient magic, beast tribes, and long-buried civilizations. Set across the wild continent of Philadelphia, humanity survives only within the fortified kingdom of Huther, while Elliot and his fairy companion Faye venture beyond its walls to explore ruins filled with puzzles, monsters, and secrets tied to eras long forgotten. The combat is fully real-time, letting players wield and swap between 2 of 7 weapon types on the fly, each upgradable through Magicite that adds elemental effects or stat bonuses. Faye serves as both a combat ally and exploration partner, retrieving items, aiding platforming, solving puzzles, and can even be controlled by a second player in co-op. The narrative folds in time travel storytelling through the Doorway of Time, connecting the present to centuries-old events that reshape Elliot's understanding of Philadelphia and its fall. With its blend of fast action, customizable weapons, puzzle-driven dungeons, and a sweeping story that bridges multiple eras, the game positions itself as a major new RPG experience for Switch 2 players when it launches in 2026.
Sorts of variations to find the playstyle that works for you. Your fairy companion, Faye, can also attack and pick up items. You can control both Elliot and Faye separately, or 2 players can control the
Elden Ring Tarnished Edition, delayed to 2026 for Nintendo Switch 2, brings the full Elden Ring experience, base game, the massive Shadow of the Erdtree expansion, and bonus cosmetic additions into a single package built for portable play. The core remains unchanged, a dark fantasy action RPG defined by open-world exploration, unforgiving combat, and a flexible class system that allows players to forge their own combat identity through weapons, sorceries, incantations, stealth, or mounted warfare. Set across the sprawling lands between, the story follows a Tarnished returning from exile to seek shards of the shattered Elden Ring, confront demigods shaped by tragedy and ambition, and determine the fate of a world collapsing under ancient power struggles. Even on new hardware, the experience is structured around seamless transitions between wide fields, legacy dungeons, and hidden paths rewarding curiosity. The Tarnished Edition's inclusion of Shadow of the Erdtree adds a vast new region, fresh bosses, and deeper lore ties that expand the narrative's emotional and political stakes. With the delay aimed at ensuring performance stability, the Switch 2 version aspires to deliver a complete, uncompromised rendition of one of the generation's most celebrated RPGs when it finally arrives in 2026.
The taste for barnacle and trust. We'd make good mates, I reckon.
I bid thee travel the path of the Lord. And once all is done, we shall see each other once more. Now.
Pokémon Pokopia, launching on March 5th, 2026 for Nintendo Switch 2, takes the series in a completely new direction by letting players shape an empty land into a thriving paradise for Pokémon. You play as a Ditto transformed into human form, exploring a blank landscape where gathering materials, crafting furniture, constructing buildings, and cultivating farmland gradually turn the wilderness into a welcoming home. Instead of relying on tools, you learn moves directly from Pokémon, using abilities like Leafage to grow vegetation, Water Gun to irrigate crops, or cutting moves to harvest resources, making friendship the foundation of both progression and creativity. As your settlement expands with new habitats and structures, more Pokémon arrive, each bringing unique abilities that open fresh possibilities for shaping terrain and unlocking new biomes. A day-night cycle and broader world exploration encourage discovery, whether you're searching for rare resources or meeting new Pokémon whose moves help evolve your building strategies. Rather than chasing badges or battling rivals, the focus is on relaxed creation, nurturing a peaceful community, and watching Pokopia transform through your decisions. With its blend of cozy life sim design and Pokémon charm, the game offers a gentle, imaginative alternative to the mainline formula as it debuts in early 2026.
Use the moves you learn to refresh the land. Clear paths. Till fields. Grow vegetables. And more. Expanding the places you can visit and what you can achieve. For example, you can transform into Lapras. While Ditto might not.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, set to arrive on Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026, brings Machine Games' cinematic first-person adventure to a wider audience by blending puzzle solving, traversal, and immersive environmental storytelling with classic indie flair. Set between Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, the game follows Indiana Jones as he investigates a global conspiracy tied to the mysterious Great Circle, pulling him across locations such as the Himalayas, the Vatican, and the Pyramids of Egypt. Gameplay mixes stealth, exploration, and fistfights with Indy's signature whip, used not only as a weapon, but also as a traversal tool for stunning enemies, swinging across gaps, and interacting with mechanisms during elaborate puzzle sequences. Firearms exist, but are intentionally limited, pushing players to rely more on improvisation, environmental takedowns, and Indy's physicality. The adventure is built around handcrafted set pieces rather than an open world, giving it a narrative-driven flow enriched by archaeological problem-solving and character-based storytelling. With its mix of action, mystery, and puzzle design rooted in the spirit of classic Indiana Jones films, the game aims to deliver a grounded, yet pulpy adventure when it finally debuts on Switch 2 in 2026.
You're messing with powers beyond your control.
You should know by now. I am always in control.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, launching on January 22, 2026 for Nintendo Switch 2, delivers the complete modern reimagining of Midgar, along with the Yuffie-focused episode Intermission, in one package designed for the new hardware. Its hybrid combat blends real-time action with the ATB system, letting you swap between characters, build gauges through attacks, and unleash spells, abilities, or tactical commands at just the right moment, emphasizing stagger mechanics and timing to turn battles in your favor. Intergrade upgrades the presentation with sharper visuals, faster load times, photo mode, and an optional streamlined difficulty to accommodate players who prefer narrative over challenge. The story retells the opening arc of the original Final Fantasy VII with expanded scenes, richer character development, and cinematic pacing, following Cloud Strife as he joins Avalanche in resisting Shinra's exploitation of the planet. Meanwhile, Yuffie's episode adds a parallel storyline set within Midgar, offering new missions, environments, and combat perspectives that broaden the broader narrative tapestry. On Switch 2, the package aims to offer a polished, portable-friendly version of the remake, combining action, strategy, and emotional storytelling into a single definitive edition for new and returning fans in early 2026.
You're dead.
This planet is my birthright.
I don't believe it. We played right into Shinra's hands.
The future isn't set in stone.
The world won't end today, but you will.
Pixelshire, arriving on Nintendo Switch in late 2025, blends life sim comfort with RPG-style exploration in a world designed to feel entirely player-shaped. Set in Arcadia, the game lets you gather resources, cultivate farms, craft tools, and befriend townsfolk while using its standout terraforming system to sculpt the land itself, raising hills, carving rivers, laying paths, and placing buildings to create a village that reflects your own style. Trades like fishing, mining, cooking, and woodcutting grow naturally as you learn skills from villagers, who can also accompany you on adventures thanks to a Follow Me system that turns community members into genuine companions. Beyond the cozy rhythms of town life lies a broader world filled with forests, dungeons, mines, monsters, and treasure, allowing players to shift smoothly between relaxed building and more traditional RPG adventuring. Exploration feeds progression, rewarding you with materials and secrets that unlock new structures, tools, and upgrades for your settlement. With its blend of customization freedom, social interaction, combat-light adventuring, and handcrafted charm, Pixelshire positions itself as a warm yet adventurous sandbox, one that encourages creativity and exploration equally when it launches on Switch near the end of 2025.
Whether you want to farm, fish, fight monsters, craft, mine, become everyone's best friend, or do a little bit of everything, this adventure has plenty to offer. So sit back, relax, and make yourself comfy.
007 First Light, launching on March 27, 2026 for Nintendo Switch 2, reimagines James Bond's earliest days in MI6 through a story crafted by IO Interactive, blending espionage stealth with cinematic action. The game follows a young, unproven Bond as he undertakes the mission that will determine whether he earns his 00 status, weaving a plot of rogue agents, global conspiracies, and morally tangled objectives. Gameplay leans heavily into spycraft, infiltrating guarded facilities, studying patrol patterns, pulling off pickpocketing or silent takedowns, and using an evolving suite of Q-designed gadgets for hacking, diversions, and precision maneuvers. Bond's signature Instinct ability adds flexibility, allowing players to improvise when plans fall apart and react with sharp situational awareness. When stealth collapses, encounters shift into fluid gunfights, melee counters, and fast, dynamic movement, reminiscent of IO's refined action systems. Missions can later be replayed with modifiers that reshape objectives or constraints, encouraging experimentation, much like Hitman's escalation-style content. With early versions of M, Q, and Moneypenny anchoring its narrative and a fresh origin arc unconnected to film continuity, the game aims to deliver a grounded but stylish portrayal of Bond coming into his own, now fully playable on Nintendo's next-generation hardware.
Someone just tried to kill me.
Tell me you caught him.
Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, set for release in spring 2026 on Nintendo Switch 2, sends Yoshi into the pages of a magical encyclopedia after a sentient tome named Mr. E falls from the sky and opens a portal to worlds filled with strange, unclassified creatures. Structured as a side-scrolling adventure, where each chapter represents a different page of the book, the game blends classic Yoshi mechanics, flutter jump, ground pound, tongue grab, and egg throwing, with new creature-partner interactions that let Yoshi harness abilities from the beings he discovers. Some creatures float and let him glide across gaps. Others act like surfboards or tools that manipulate terrain, encouraging players to experiment with combos while cataloging each species' traits as part of the game's exploration loop. The visual style leans heavily into a hand-drawn, stop-motion aesthetic, making environments feel like crafted storybook dioramas that shift and fold as Yoshi explores them. Puzzle-driven platforming, hidden paths, and gentle narrative humor shape the overall experience, aiming for a cozy but inventive adventure that expands Yoshi's formula with a focus on discovery and ecological storytelling. As one of Switch 2's early first-party titles, it promises a charming blend of creativity, accessibility, and playful world-building when it arrives in 2026.
Oh, they can even cause rocks to crack. Thanks to them, we were able to break the rock. It looks like there are still lots of unusual creatures residing within the book. A page.
Resident Evil Requiem, launching on February 27, 2026 for Nintendo Switch 2, marks a return to the series' survival horror roots, with a new storyline set in a shattered raccoon city after yet another biological catastrophe. The game introduces Grace Ashcroft, an FBI intelligence analyst whose investigation into a series of brutal incidents draws her into a conspiracy linked to her mother's mysterious death. Built on the RE engine, Requiem supports both first-person and third-person perspectives, allowing players to tailor how they engage with its tense corridors, resource-scarce encounters, and psychological dread. The dual-view system aims to blend the intimacy of modern Resident Evil with the spatial awareness of classics, while environmental puzzles, exploration loops, and carefully managed inventory evoke early franchise design. Raccoon City's ruins serve as a sprawling, atmospheric backdrop where mutated threats roam and narrative clues hide beneath debris and abandoned infrastructure. Combat remains grounded and frightening, emphasizing precision, vulnerability, and improvisation under pressure. For Switch 2 owners, the release signals a fully featured, mainline Resident Evil experience, built to leverage the new hardware's capabilities and deliver a chilling, cinematic survival journey anchored by a fresh protagonist and a city steeped in familiar nightmares.
Grace. They're coming.
There's no escaping your destiny.
Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, launching on Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026, returns the series to large-scale tactical battles while introducing new systems built around risk, versatility, and character-driven decision-making. Set during the Heroic Games, a continent-spanning tournament hosted by a mysterious divine sovereign who promises to grant the victor's wish, the story brings together fighters from rival nations, each entering the competition with personal motives shaped by ambition, loyalty, or desperation. Classic classes like Noble, Myrmidon, and Hunter return alongside new roles such as Charioteer and Flying Orneus Rider, expanding tactical options on varied battlefields. A key mechanic, Blaze Arts, allows characters to unleash powerful techniques at the cost of their own HP, creating high-stakes choices that can dramatically change a fight's momentum. Inventory depth also increases, letting units carry and swap multiple weapons during encounters for situational adaptability. Tied spiritually to the world of Three Houses, but set in a different era, the narrative introduces protagonists like Kai, Theodora, Dietrich, and Lida, each threading their own story through the tournament structure. With a mix of familiar Fire Emblem strategy and fresh class and combat innovations, Fortune's Weave aims to deliver one of the series' most dynamic entries when it arrives next year.
There's a man I hate so much that simply killing him will not satisfy me. For that reason, I refuse to die.
I won't let you.
Those are the top 20 upcoming games for Nintendo Switch and potentially Switch 2 that have us the most hyped. From remakes of classics to bold new IPs, the future is looking incredibly bright for Nintendo's platform. Which of these games are you most excited for? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know if there are any other upcoming titles you think deserve attention. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content. Until next time, keep gaming.